some NFL draft prep. Now, this might not even take this long because there's not a lot of guys that we're going to be evaluating at this juncture. And knowing the quarterback class in this NFL draft isn't as deep or talented as we've seen in years past. We will be probably just going over a 2 or 3 guys here and trying to figure out where they're at. But we do this every single year going into the NFL season, evaluating some of the positions that are key into helping your team get better for the next NFL season. Who might be drafting where, looking at the mock drafts, looking at some of the NFL players that might be on people's radars. And we always do this by position. So we'll talk through this one. We're starting out with quarterbacks in this first edition of NFL Draft Preview here on ActionLab Sports. So let's go ahead. Let's dive in. And I think this really comes down, Scotty, to what? 3 guys generally that are going to be...
I think there's a consensus top 3, and I think the order is mostly consensus, but not with everyone. But
I've heard
let's
that.
Start. It's not a great. It's not a.
I've heard
QB class.
I've heard after 1 there's no consensus.
After 1, well, that's just, and that's probably people not liking Shador's persona, probably. But
yeah,
even there is, to be clear, there is not a surefire franchise QB in this draft, and the top guy's probably going to get taken number 1 overall. And I'm not saying he can't hit. He definitely can. But there's question marks. This isn't just an automatic layup. This is the guy. He's generational, anything like that.
Yeah. And the guys we're talking about, the first 2 going to most likely be first-round picks. And then is Jackson Dart going to be in the first...
He could sneak into the first.
Could he sneak into the first round? So potentially 3. But we're talking about Cam Ward, who is the quarterback of Miami, which a lot of people see as the consensus top quarterback, top pick in some of these mock drafts. You have Shador Sanders, who quarterback of Colorado here, obviously up in Boulder. We like to see a lot of what he was doing this year. Shined out at times and had his moments where he was looking like a polished ball distributor. He is consensus number 2 in a lot of people's mock drafts. And then you have Jackson Dart, who is the quarterback, Ole Miss, who could sneak in, like we mentioned, to the first round. But, we like to talk about where they could land and who might be drafting them. It's a little bit easy when you have a lot of teams at the top that you kind of have an idea where they're going to go with their first couple picks. But Scotty, we got Cam Ward off the board first.
Yeah, I think most people's consensus number 1 quarterback in this draft, and right now, the favorite to go number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans. Rumors are they met with him. They loved him. Hurts me a lot because I bet months ago on Abdul Carter being the number 1 overall pick. But it is what it is. Sorry, he's going to go 2. All right. I took a flyer. It was 8-1. Don't hate me, Chris.
SDG's it's in jeopardy. There it goes.
It is in jeopardy. It doesn't feel good right now, but crazier things have happened. So we'll see. Cam Ward, interesting story. Not highly recruited. He went to Incarnate Word, Chris, for his first 2 years of college football. Football powerhouse.
Yep.
That is Incarnate Word.
For those of you that don't know, that's FCS.
Yes. Not big league football, even in college. Went to Washington State for a year.
2 years.
And then, was he there? No.
Yep.
Was he there 2 years?
2 seasons at Incarnate Word, 2 at Washington State, and another at Miami.
It feels like 5 seasons. Is that allowed?
He's a fifth.
Yeah, it is. If you
He's a 5th year.
He wasn't.
He's
he
a
wasn't
5th year
starter
senior.
in Incarnate Word his freshman year. Washington
There's a-
State bounced to
his tight
Miami
end-
last year.
Like Ward's tight end has been in college for 9 years.
Yeah, he's a fifth-year senior. 57 starts on his college resume.
So experienced. But he's still he's only 22. So he's still about to turn 23 in May, I believe. So still younger than some of the guys that went in the first round last year, aka Bo Nix and Atlanta's. Even Jaden Daniels was older than that. But Ward is an interesting player. I mean, creative, good thrower to the football, flashy, but probably the flashiest arm in this draft. Can make plays that maybe no one else in this draft can do. He's kind of similar in a way to Shador, and we'll talk about Shador. Just got to be better decision making. Get the ball out at times. Take what's given to you. Don't try and force plays that aren't there. Has some growing up to do for sure. My comp for him is probably actually a pretty favorable comp. Like Jordan Love is who, obviously
Okay.
Jordan Love, Utah State, played there in his college career. Took a few years before starting at, beyond Aaron Rodgers. Cam Ward, if he's the number 1 overall pick, won't have that luxury. He'll start right away. Decent height, 6'2", not huge, but not small. 223, good size. Obviously played phenomenal at Miami this year. Actually played really well at Washington State last year too. Obviously why he got to Miami, but I just have questions of the reading the defense, footwork's going to be a problem. He's got to improve that significantly. Not that he can't. He has intangibles. He has an ability to be a very, very, very good quarterback in this league, and I do think he should be the first quarterback taken. But this in a draft class that I'm like, It's not the worst. I mean, obviously, we go back a few years and we had an awful draft class where Rec can attest to this. Kenny Pickett was the only first rounder. It's not that bad, but it's a lot to put on a kid's shoulders to be the number 1 overall pick, where maybe he doesn't have that ability of a number 1 overall. But if you're desperate, if you need a quarterback and you're at the top of the draft, you don't know when. If you don't have a quarterback and you're at the top of the draft, you almost get forced into taking a quarterback at times, because it's obviously the single most important position in all of team sports. If you don't have one, you need one. If you're at the number 1 pick, take the best guy that's there, and that's Cam Ward.
Yeah, Cam Ward. I mean, I think the things that I love about him is the fact that he's dynamic, but he's also benefited from multiple offensive schemes over the course of the different spots that he was at, whether it was in Cardinal Word, Washington State, Miami. He's kind of bounced around and still found ways to climb the ladder. So, what's nice about him is he has the ability to also evade pressure and be able to get out and make plays, just trying to get out and using some of that. He has enough athleticism to kind of be, a little dangerous, but I think that is really working for him. He does tend to, make some interesting decisions, throwing accuracy inconsistent when he's throwing balls in the tight coverage when he doesn't need to. So some of that decision making, but generally, I think he's a good, solid quarterback to take at number 1 here. I agree. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks, at least at this position, when there's not a lot of depth, in some of the other players that will be taken after these top 3. So generally, I like him. I mean, 39 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 4,313 yards, 9.5 yards per attempt. I mean, he's a guy that can put up stats. 6'2", 219. Yeah, strong arm, poise in the pocket, playmaking instincts. I mean, he can throw those trick shots, but then again, those are the ones that get him in trouble sometimes. So, it's it's a little bit of a gamble there, but generally, yeah, I think he's a guy that you would be happy taking at number 1 if you're Tennessee. He said he was going to buy a boat with his first NFL check, Scotty. I don't know if that's the smartest thing. I mean, I guess he loves to be on a boat.
Did he say that to teams?
I don't know. He
Regardless, they've heard about it. That's an awful answer. Are you trying to not get drafted?
I have a video here where he's like, "I'm going to buy a boat with my first check."
Well,
should he?
I would automatically disqualify him as the number 1 overall pick based off that answer, because that's a stupid ass answer. That's a depreciating asset beyond belief. That makes no sense.
All right, you heard it here first. He's gonna be the bust of the century.
I didn't say that. That was all I'm saying is that was a terrible answer. Terrible answer.
That's what he's.
Who's coaching him?
I don't not the right people. It seems not the right people. So who knows what that does? Also, the other interviews says he considers himself a pocket passer. Grew up as a fan of Cam Newton, Michael Vick, but now spends more time studying Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. Smart man. So there, he's got some. He knows.
Off the field, he's Aaron Rodgers. On the field, he wants to be Patrick Mahomes.
I'd love to find storage for a boat, especially since boat is seasonal.
Yeah. Maybe not in Miami, but guess what? You're getting drafted to Tennessee.
Tennessee.
That's another reason. If you get drafted to Tennessee, where are you taking that boat?
What are you doing with that thing?
What are you doing with that boat?
That's something my wife would be like, all right, why did you bring that home? And what are you going to do with it? Like
one of my buddies has tried to convince me to buy a boat. I'm like, that's the single furthest thing I would ever buy. Of all the things I would buy, a boat is like last on the pecking chart. Like, we're in Colorado, okay? Why do I need a boat? Why would I want a boat?
Landlocked Tennessee, baby. Yeah,
Roger.
Hey, do what you got to do. The 2 happiest days of a person's life are the day you buy a boat and the day you sell their boat. Yeah, the kid.
Outside of the 30 grand you lost in between.
In between. Yeah, you're not exactly. They're expensive, and all of a sudden, after when is he gonna have time for a boat? Like, too expensive, man. But that's what he plans on doing. So shout out to him. Let's move on.
I changed my mind. He's QB5.
He's QB5. He's falling down our draft boards as we speak.
Stupid answer.
Next up, we got Shedeur Sanders, who is the quarterback of Colorado. We know him well here. We live in Colorado. He's just up the street in Boulder. 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 4,134 yards passing, 8.7 yards per attempt. We've seen him as a polished ball distributor, like that. Some of those long balls that he, is constantly hitting downfield. Plays with poise, tough, can be really accurate, and he just has a little more of a swagger, right? He's got that Deion Sanders blood, so obviously he's going to have some of that. But Scotty, you got some concerns. I think I have some concerns with a couple aspects of Shedeur, but the 6'2", 212-pound quarterback, 23 years old. What do you think about our boy from Boulder?
I think he throws actually a really pretty ball, Chris. I think he can be very accurate. I've heard arm strength concerns, but I don't have a ton of concerns there. I think he has enough strength to be just fine in the NFL throwing the football. Pretty ball, accurate. I don't even mind the swagger. I like the swagger, Chris. He's got some maturing to do though on that side of the football to make some of the, when you get in an NFL locker room with some of the vets, the older guys, like you can't just come in and have all this swagger and whatnot. So he's got to figure that out a little bit. But more than that, Chris, I watched almost all of CU's games the last couple of years. And my biggest concern is he, at times, and he's the most sacked quarterback over the last 2 years in all of college football. Now, a lot of people will put that blame on the offensive line for Colorado, which is fair. There's a large aspect of that is true. But some of that has to be put on Shedeur. Shedeur, and sometimes I'm baffled because I'm like, you're Deion Sanders' son. How are you not faster? But
he's not the fastest guy in the world.
In his mind, he's like, I'm Deion. I can move around. I'll circle back. There are so many moments over the last 2 years where I watched him get sacked for not just like a 8 to 10 yard loss, Chris. We're talking 15 to 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Devastating. Drive killers. Not even on third down. This might be a first down play. This might be where you need a field goal and you take yourself out of field goal range. Like the awareness and the mindset of just like, I'm going to create this special play has to be removed from him. He needs to get it out on time. He is not what I would consider a dual threat. He's not a runner. Can he run at times? Yes. Can he extend plays at times? Yes. But more often than not, that's going to end poorly than good. Like, it ended poorly a lot of times in college, and he has to have that corrected badly. I mean, what people won't pinpoint is like Colorado had a really, really, and obviously Travis Hunter was on the team, but like beyond even Travis Hunter, a very good wide receiver core. Maybe the second best, strength on the team was that wide receiver core. Very good wide receiver core. And at times he's still getting, you can't afford on a 1st and 10 to get a 15, 20 yard loss. It's over. That drive's over. Hand it off 2 times and punt. Maybe punt on 2nd down. I don't know. But that's my biggest concern with him is like the minus plays that he has shown in college where he doesn't, you got to read defenses. If you see a coverage, a blitz cover or a blitz package, you got to get the ball out quick. He threw a lot of, now Colorado didn't have a run game whatsoever. So their run game was, a lot of horizontal passes. So he threw to the outside a lot quick to, get the ball in space and see if they can create there because the CU run game was non-existent in his time in Colorado. But to his credit, both schools he went to, Jackson State and then Colorado, weren't very good. He went there. They won a lot more games. So he has some pieces. And like I said, he throws a tremendous ball, I think. A very clean, nice spiral, easy to catch, accurate, good touch on deep balls. But he's got to get better at the minus plays. Can't afford to do that in the NFL.
Yeah.
You will be out of a job very quickly if you can't correct that.
I mean, coincidentally enough, he does take care of the football for the most part. I mean, he definitely, on turnover-worthy plays, he definitely was a lot better than some other. I think I saw a stat where he was like 1.5% of turnover-worthy plays in 2024, 6th lowest among quarterbacks with at least 150 dropbacks, which, for the amount of times he got sacked, like, that's the thing. He's not a fastest guy in the world. We talked about that, but he's like elusive enough to get out but like he's slow still. So when he says he's
shockingly
it's weird.
Deion's son.
It's weird to think, and the thing is, the speed is going to pick up in the NFL. Like the NFL, dudes are fast, they're physical, and he's not, for a guy that's not as quick and not as athletic as you would probably think he should be. And then sometimes he's slow in getting the ball out and everything there. So I worry a little bit on how he's going to actually look when he's getting dudes coming off the edge and in his face within like 1 to 2 seconds, and he's in trouble. So I do agree, though. I mean, all 3 levels, his accuracy, he can hit. Like he's good in the pocket. He can hit, all over the field. He can be dynamic in that aspect, but I mean, he drifts.
He needs to mentally become a pocket passer.
Yeah.
Because that's who he is.
And
who he should be.
And I think he tends to drift into, like, I've seen a lot of CU games as well. Like he like gets into the pocket, but then he drifts into like trouble, and he gets himself into these weird spots, and he's not quick enough to get himself out of them, leading to those sacks. And he takes care of the ball when he gets sacked, but still, like, you can't do that. And especially in the NFL, you got quick dudes out there.
Do you have a comp for him, Chris?
Oh,
I got one that will shock people.
Tell me, what do you got?
My comp, if he learns to be a pocket passer, because his arm strength isn't insane, but it's very good. If everything goes right, and he learns how to play properly, my comp is Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
Which I think everyone would just be like, wait, what? Who? Why? What? But no, I think his ball looks a lot like Jared Goff's. Yeah, I kind of like a Jared Goff comp.
Where do you think he goes? We know where Cam Ward's going.
I do think he's gonna go. I do think he's gonna go to the Giants at 3.
I mean, Giants already have a guy. I mean, Russell Wilson's not going to teach him how to be a pocket presence.
The Giants are collecting quarterbacks this offseason, but those are short term. I do think I saw this tweet, but I don't even know if it was real or not, that during his pro day in CU, I think it was either last week or the week before, Giants coaches and GM were there, and they said something like, "You're going to save our job." I don't know. I didn't hear that myself, so like I don't even know if that's true.
I've never heard that.
That could be very false, but I do think my best guess is he goes to the Giants at 3.
I mean, that's where all the mock drafts have him. And the Giants, I mean, do the Giants have a future quarterback of the quarterback of the future on their roster? And I would say they don't.
Of course not.
They don't.
Oh, they do though. They've got Tommy Cutlets.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, it's not my quarterback.
It's my quarterback.
But yeah, I mean, it seems like a no-brainer. The Giants are desperate to find somebody after the Daniel Jones experiment fizzled out, and then they bring in all of that what they brought in, Jameis and Russ. Like, it just, you can't come away with this draft without Shedeur at this point. I don't think. I think you have to take a stab at him.
It could easily fail, but if you're the Giants
in a big market,
a lot of these teams without a QB, shoot your shot.
If it
fails, get out quick, take another shot.
You're
going to be at the top of draft again if it fails. So
you're in New York. You're in a big market.
Keep shooting until you get your franchise QB.
A global pandemic couldn't save the Giants. Yeah, they need to take a swing. And the personality in a big market is always, I mean, he has a big personality. Dude bought his offensive tackle Jordan Seaton a $200,000 Maybach and was like, hey, I mean, he's flashy. He likes to be in the spotlight. He likes the quotes after the games. He likes to be just the chains and everything else. I mean, when you're in a big market like New York, that could be a good thing. It could also be a bad thing. But I think big markets like that
play well, and it's a great thing.
Play
shitty, and it's maybe the worst spot ever.
Yeah. So he's going to bring a lot of eyeballs to the Giants, who haven't had a lot of eyeballs on them in recent years. You need something. You just got you sent your best running back to Philadelphia, and he won a Super Bowl. It's a disaster in New York, and so they need something. And I think Shedeur fits that.
And if he doesn't go 3, it'll be interesting. I mean, maybe the Raiders at 6, because 4 or 5 are New England and Jacksonville. I don't see
the Raiders just paid Geno Smith $80 million. I don't think they'd be in the market for a quarterback yet, especially with Pete Carroll.
Another classic mistake.
After that, I'd say Saints would be the next best choice. Derek Carr has 1 year left on his deal. They're old.
Yeah, you're sliding to 9 there because I mean the
Jets could. which again, another New York market.
New York.
But I mean, if he goes to the Jets, he's done. No, when's the last time a quarterback succeeded in New York, the New York Jets organization?
Hear me out. Hear me out. If he doesn't go 3, and he's available at 12. I don't know if you know who's picking at 12, Chris.
Dallas, I believe, right?
The Dallas Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys?
I've heard that, but again, they also just gave Dak the largest quarterback contract.
I'm almost certain they want to get out of that as soon as they can.
Yeah, but
as
like,
they should.
They
shouldn't have signed it in the first place. Well, you can trade him.
I don't even think like they could. I think that would still cost more. That would cost more cap space than just keeping him on the roster at this point.
1 year of pain is better than 5 years of pain.
I'm just for shits and giggles. I'm going to look Dak's.
There's no doubt the cap hit on that next year would be worse, but if you don't believe in Dak anymore,
yeah,
you know,
let's just
you gotta move on.
Yeah,
let's do a post June 1st trade. Oh, they could actually make that work. Okay, they could actually make a post June 1st trade.
Cowboys at 12.
Before we get to our last quarterback to close out, I want to give a shout out to everyone who's watching. Hit that follow button if you're new to the channel, just joining us for the first time. We are live every single Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday night. We are doing a lot of NFL draft coverage moving forward as we get closer and closer. We're breaking down each position. We're doing quarterbacks tonight, and we'll continue on through all the different positions as we look to see who is going to make your teams better for the next NFL season. Chairman, shout out to my buddy Tim. That one, the brackets. We were wondering who that was. We were like, wait a minute.
Tell Tim to DM Chris.
Yeah, I need his info. I need his shirt size,
his social.
I need his credit card number.
Name.
Yeah, everything.
Probably next of kin.
You know. So I need all, but really, I need all. I need his address and his shirt size at the minimum, so I could send over his. He's already in bed.
His prize. Also, Scott, real quick. Shador's not going to 12 because that's going to be where Ashton Genty goes if he doesn't go before.
I would say he's going to go before 12.
Who, Ashton Genty?
I think he's going to go to the Raiders.
I could see that. That's the other option. Like if he doesn't go to the Raiders,
Pete Carroll will be pounding the table for Ashton Genty.
Hell, Brady probably would too. Like he always had like a solid running game around him.
Yeah. I see. I mean, CBS Sports has their mock draft out. They have. Hopefully, this is the. I mean, I don't know.
Their mock draft sucks.
Their mock draft is all over the place. They have Genty at 5 for the Jags. They have
that would be stupid.
McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona, at 6 with the Raiders. I mean, they got a weird draft. Shador at 7.
Reports are McMillan is dropping quite a bit.
Oh, he's dropping.
Yeah, I was telling Chris earlier.
Yeah,
like
he's on
a previous stream. Like he's the top receiver in the class, talent wise. But there's a lot of issues surrounding him.
He was on a podcast saying, "I don't watch tape. That's not my thing." Like, wait, what? Like, come on, man. What are we doing? All right, let's get to the last quarterback that we're gonna be probably talking about, and then we could throw in any wild cards at the end. But the last quarterback that we feel is going to potentially make an impact this season, or sooner rather than later, I should say, is Jackson Dart, quarterback of Ole Miss. 2024 stats: he was 29 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 4,279 yards, 10.8 yards per attempt, 6'2", 223. He's instinctual. He likes to attack the seams, pushes the ball downfield, gives his receivers chances to make plays. So there's a lot to like about him. I've seen some comps to Andy Dalton.
No. That's just hating on his athletic. He's far more athletic.
He's probably more athletic than Andy Dalton. That's fair.
He's the best runner of these three.
But Yeah, I mean, I think. What are your thoughts? Who he might be tail end of the first round, maybe dips to the second round potentially. But where do you what do you see for Jackson Dart?
I like Dart when I watched him. I think he throws a good ball as well. More athletic than the two guys we've talked about, in my opinion. Made some mistakes in big game moments with bad decision making, but he's been played a lot of college football, but still only 21, so he's the youngest of these three as well. He'll turn 22 in May, but it's not May yet, Chris, so he's 21 now. He's got to get better progression wise. Not good progression at all, but I think he has a good feel for the game. I actually am probably higher on Jackson Dart than most people, just based off of the games and tape I've watched. I think he can be a good quarterback in this league. He plays bigger than he's 6'2", 225-ish. He, to me, looks and plays bigger than that. He can get outside the pocket a little bit, create better than these other guys. My actual comp for him is like a taller Russell Wilson. Man, let this man cook. Dang it. He's really good at throwing back shoulder throws. Good at the deep ball, good touch, good enough arm strength, can create. I mean, he's got to do a lot better at progressions. He kind of is like first read oftentimes and then doesn't know what to do the ball. And that's why he turns into Russ, where he just backward spins or does whatever to try and extend the play and find another guy. So he's got a lot to learn there. But there are traits there where this guy theoretically could have the highest upside of any quarterback in this draft.
I mean, most recently he had an interview where he said he has similar skill sets and abilities to someone he loves watching in Jalen Hurts. Body types similar. He said it, not me. But he models his game after Hurts, and he likes how Allen plays as well. But
he ain't Allen big.
He ain't Allen big. No,
he's
that's
6'2".
Yeah.
But yeah,
Allen's like 6'5".
Yeah.
So that's where he thinks he wants to be, kind of on that Jalen Hurts scale. But yeah, three-year starter, Ole Miss. And it was via USC, by the way, in case you don't remember. But throws a catchable ball. I think he's a guy that can really be productive. He's battle tested. He can make throws in the face of pressure. He adds kind of some of that, to the different levels of his game. So I think that, with him, like, I think you kind of alluded to it, but like some of the footwork just needs work. And I think that is something that he could try to hone in on in the NFL as he gets into it with some of the coaching staffs out there, depending on where he ends up going to. But he was the Ole Miss's all-time leader in passing yards, surpassed Eli Manning's total during the 2024 season. So he passed up Eli.
Shoot, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, all-time leader in passing yards. So shout out to him for that. So that's big. But
would you say that he can throw a dart? He throws darts.
He can throw a dart. He can. I mean, it's in his name. I mean, yeah. So, yeah, it says single season highs in passing yards, passing touchdowns as a senior in 2024 while running 495 yards, averaging 3.9 yards per carry and 3 touchdowns. Named the Gator Bowl MVP and first team All SEC. So, yeah, I mean, where do we see him falling to? Like, what team would probably benefit towards the end of the first round that could possibly pick him up?
I think if you're looking end of the first, and it's not going to be late first, it'd have to be a trade. It'd have to be a trade if it's late first, because everyone's pretty solidified.
Yeah, agreed.
Honestly,
Because I mean, you got what?
Pitt at 21, right? Is probably the last team you move after Pitt at 21. You get to Green Bay or
Like
Nobody
LA
needs
Chargers, Green Bay, Minnesota, Houston, LA Rams. I mean, maybe the Rams, because how many more years does Stafford have?
Otherwise,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Otherwise, does he drop to 33 and go to Cleveland? I mean, because 32, you got the Eagles, you got Kansas City at 31, doesn't need one. Bills at 30. Washington doesn't need one. Lions don't need one. Ravens don't need one. Jags don't need one. Houston.
Ravens kind of need one.
Is that the Jags pick?
Jags. Is that?
I'm showing LA at 20.
Oh, is it LA? Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Never mind. Yeah, LA.
It's probably CBS Sports.
They do the trades. That's what they did. Yeah, Rams.
Yeah. Rams have the 26th pick.
But see, even still, Rams.
Rams could be a sneaky team in there because Stafford has, not a long shelf life left.
True. And he has shown that he's been getting hurt. So, all right. So you would say either Rams or a potential Cleveland. Then you have Giants at 34, which.
But if they're taking Shador,
we think they're taking Shador.
Or they could just take two quarterbacks and be like, okay, one of you has to be decent.
Titans.
Add that to Jameis and Russ, and you have quite the QB room.
And then you have
Tommy Cutland.
And then you have, then you go down, you have the Raiders, Patriots. I mean, there's not a lot of options.
There's not a lot of quarterback needy teams.
No, there's not. And Cleveland's
there either be like a shitload of quarterbacks drafted immediately, or like we'll see Jackson Dart being picked up in the third round as the second or third quarterback.
Yeah, I think if the Rams don't take him at 26 and Cleveland's...
Here's my thing. If Cleveland wants, even with the first pick in the second round, they're like, I know he's going to fall. If you really believe in a QB, you have to get back in the first round to get that fifth-year option. That's huge, especially at the QB spot.
I would say, though, the Browns have taken in like all the mid-tier quarterbacks. Like they've talked to Dart, Tyler Shuck, Milroe, all of like the second tier guys that would like to go day two.
Will Howard.
Yeah, so they would, they're likely like try to go Travis Hunter pick 2 and then quarterback round 2, or trade up into the first.
Yeah, pretty interesting. I honestly think that's one of the more intriguing just where is he going to go kind of picks when it comes to the quarterback side.
I feel like that's the case for every all the top quarterbacks besides Cam Ward, of course.
I mean, I think those first two feel pretty
until the Titans shock the world.
Until the
Tool Carter,
Tool Carter, just trying to live the dream.
Get that edge. Get that edge rusher.
This guy is trying to manifest this.
He manifested, trying to put out source. Hey, source told me. I heard from a really good source that
I really heard how good your sources are, Chris.
You mean the dude in the locker room at my work building who told me
Cooper Kupp's still out of the league. Where's he going?
No, he's
in Seattle.
He's in Seattle.
He got signed by Seattle. I didn't even hear that.
Yeah.
I literally did not hear that.
Which is kind of confusing because it feels like JSN is more of a JSN slaughter outside. I feel like he's slot.
Well, goodbye to Cooper Kupp's career.
What do you mean he's catching it from the greatest quarterback ever, Sam Darnold, or second greatest behind Cooper Kupp or Cooper Rush?
He actually might put up stats with Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold will also get sacked 47 times.
Yeah, his offensive line there is AIDS.
Any other guys that we need to mention that are? I mean, obviously there's going to be other quarterbacks taken in this draft, and they're going to be later rounds, and these are the three that kind of stand out. But if there is there any, before we close the door on quarterback draft class, we typically cover like the guys in the first round, second round. But are there any others that
there's one guy at the end of the season, he was seen as like a 4th, 5th round guy. Throughout the offseason, he's jumped into like 2nd round. Couple people put him in the 1st round conversation. And it's probably the oldest man we've ever talked about for rookie quarterbacks.
Schaff?
And it,
Tyler?
Yep.
Good old Tyler?
Yep, Tyler Shuck.
Shuck? Is that how you say it?
Shuck?
Say it.
Yes, yep. I looked it up for an article once. That's what it said, and then listening to it like on the Rich Eisen show and other things, they all say Shuck as well. Like, okay, I guess his last name is really Shuck.
Weird.
As someone who watches Oregon, and that's where he started his career and got some playing time, I wouldn't touch that dude with a 10-foot pole.
Hold on. Sorry.
What's
Sorry.
happening right now?
I
What is
I
that?
have a clip that just
Do you want to save it? Because right now all I heard is something about blowing or something.
Yeah.
no, it was a video of the dude saying he was gonna buy a boat with his first check. It just started playing
Cam
randomly.
Ward.
Cam Ward.
He's gonna blow his money.
Tyler Shuck was highly recruited to Oregon and flamed out. I'm not. Jalen Monroe is another name that a lot of people talk about. He's basically, you're projecting completely. He's not close to ready to start in the NFL.
Yeah, if you're
the
drafting
best
Monroe, you have to
athlete-
stay for like a year or two.
The best athlete at the QB position in the draft, QB at Alabama, needs to work on a lot of things. But, I've heard some comps to like a Justin Fields. So Pittsburgh will probably take him because they wanted to keep Fields. Pittsburgh might draft all the quarterbacks.
Pittsburgh.
I'm hoping that nobody drafts quarterbacks. We draft DT round 1 and then have our pick of quarterbacks in round 3.
Well, you're not gonna like any of the quarterbacks in round 3. I've heard a lot of hype on Will Howard a little bit. Obviously, national champion,
No.
but that dude's a
I
backup,
have not.
in my opinion.
Yeah, like all those sources I've heard, like Will Howard's not that guy. Like
You're not that
he's
guy.
probably gonna be
Trust me.
back.
You're not that guy.
Although-
He might turn into a really solid backup, but he's like a game
Yeah, that's-
manager. There's not
yeah,
a lot
that's-
of great traits there.
Yeah, that's my comp there. I mean, like for the Steelers, like they're projected to have 11 draft picks next year. So like I'm hoping like maybe they take a backup late in the draft this year, and next year they'll have the assets to trade up to get their guy in a much better quarterback draft.
All right.
Maybe.
Well, there you go. Well, that's gonna we're gonna continue to do this moving forward with all of these different positions. So make sure again you're hitting that follow button if you're new to the channel and having fun with us, learning about some of these dudes, getting ready, gearing up for the NFL draft. We will be where you want to be. All the coverage, everything you'll need is right here. No one's covering it